All right, Shalom. I want to start out by giving all praise and glory to you. How about Shemal Shah, about Shema Kakadash, the bonus of the apostle, of this great millstone. Shalom to the document, they're pushing the word of sincerity and in truth. It's the brother Barzal. I just want to do this lesson in regards to Iran and this American conflict. We seeing that it's transpiring. Um, what's transpiring in going on in the Middle East. It's a lot of missiles is being shot. You have military deployments, and I spoke about this before. And we all see it. Brothers that's watching the news and everybody that's constantly keeping their heads, in the game. You see that this conflict is taking a turn for the worse for the United States. You see that Iran is waxing bolden. They have a high level of confidence in regards to this war. They're not backing down from the United States of America. And this is a image that shows the size of Iran. Because even though Iran is at a significant disadvantage when it comes to a lot military wise, and here's the list. The fact that these other nations are going to assemble and be a guard, such as Russia as well as China, to help protect Iran is going to make this war that much more difficult. You see the United States and their allies are no longer really in full cooperation with the United States. They're pretty much like, you don't dig yourself this hole, climb out of it. They don't have people to waste. They're not looking to expand their military and their ground troops, such as Israel. Israel doesn't even want to put their troops on the put boots on the ground. So you have the active personnel. You have the million in the United States, 610,000 in Iran, which that's not pretty bad for Iran. The reserve personnel, 800,000, 799,500, 350,000. And you see with the air power, the land power, as well as the naval power, United States is significantly stronger when it comes to those three, as well as the financial military budget. So the Navy, the Army, the Marines, all these different forces that Esau is heavily invested into. They are, it's a strong force, but nonetheless, the Lord is putting the spirit on Iran to fight, and this is like one of those stories where you'll see a good movie to watch was 300 with Xerxes. Even though Xerxes had a large fleet of military men, yet it was difficult to take down the Lacedaemonians or the 300 because they was more militarily organized, And if you look at Iran, they're surrounded. The position of Iran is a very, very important position. All warfare is based upon position. They tell you that in the book, The Art of War. So they have all these different mountain ranges and diverse weather systems that they've been lived in since the beginning. That's going to prove very, very difficult for the U.S. troops to maneuver in. So this is going to be the war. This is the war that we've been harping upon for decades at this point, a number of years, and speaking about how detrimental it'll be. So it says, what are Iran's missile range capabilities with thousands of ballistic and cruise missiles, some of which have reached Israel and are capable of reaching Eastern Europe? Iran has the biggest and most varied missile arsenal in the Middle East, according to the Centers for Strategic and International Studies. Yeah, and it said that Iran is also the 16th most powerful nation. Iran has made significant efforts over the last 10 years to increase the accuracy and deadliness of these weapons. Due to these advancements, Iran missile forces are now a potent weapon for projecting Iranian power and a real threat to the military forces of the U.S. and its allies in the area. Yeah, and you see the ballistic and cruise missile range. You see the miles from that Iran could shoot their missiles. And this is what, this is under USA Today. It could be significantly more. We know that Esau's a damn liar, so you can only take what he's saying from face value. He said Iranian missile attacks from 2017 to 2026. You see the list of ballistic missiles. Let me see. Yeah, Israel launching ballistic and cruise missiles. But yeah, I wanted to definitely speak on that because we're getting closer and closer in these times, and it gets more beautiful as the days approach. Even though brothers go through our struggles and we have our hardships that we have to undergo, we know that every conflict that America goes into is stretching itself more and more thin. It's getting weaker and weaker. These different nations that were once weak are becoming more stronger. They're starting to progress against the whore, which is America, and it's all going to converge within the Middle East. And that's where, like I had said before in the lesson, decisions. The valley of decision, which I can get that precept. This is Ezekiel, the 38th chapter, and the 5th verse. Persia, Ethiopia, and Libya, all of them with shield and helmet. And we know that also in the earlier verses, which I could read in verse 1, that Gog and Magog, which is Russia, is going to play a critical part in this war. Ezekiel 38:1. And the word of the Lord came unto me, saying, Son of man, set thy face against Gog, the land of Magog, the chief prince of Meshech and Tubal, and prophesy against him. And say, Thus saith the Lord power, behold, I am against thee, O Gog, the chief prince of Meshech and Tubal. Yeah, see, the Lord isn't even fully in harmony with these nations. He's using these nations to as tools. Just like the Lord used the so-called white man as a weapon to bring wrath upon the children of Israel, the Lord is using Russia and China to bring wrath upon America, as well as Iran. And say, Thus saith the Lord power, behold, I am against thee, O God, the chief prince of Meshech and Tubal. Verse 4, And I will turn thee back and put hooks into thy jaws, and I will bring thee forth and all thine armies, horses and horsemen, all of them clothed with all sorts of armor, even a great company with buckler and shields, all of them handling swords, which the modern day sword is the gun. All right. And even a step further, there's fighter jets, is the tanks, you have ships, missiles. All these different things are the weapons that's being used within this military conflict, and it's costing billions of dollars. I think the war is taking place is like $2 billion a day. That America's having to pay. So this is expensive. War is extremely expensive. But it's essential for the fall of America. Which is Babylon the Great. A lot of people look at this place as a haven of rest, or, scriptures speak about, the place of unwalled villages. So they look at this place as an area of harmony where they could kick their feet back and just have a good old time. But they're seeing that really this place is starting to become a dystopian reality, So this is Joel 3:14. Multitudes in the valley of decision, for the day of the Lord is near in the valley of decision. Yeah, and that's judgment, man. So the multitude of these troops are converging within the Middle East, and that's not for the betterment of America, it's for the detriment. Because America thinks they're going to go into all these different nations as they went in, because these nations don't have a centralized bank. They're not owned by the Rothschilds and the Rockefellers, and the Gettys, DuPonts don't have the elites don't have their hands within the markets of these nations. So they go to war with them to monopolize. and get control. But that same effort is taking a turn for the worse. So all we have to do, like always say, is continue on. Stay within the realm of the fight. Don't hold our head on our losses. Continue to grow. You know, gain, pray, purge, fast. Do whatever it takes. Because we're close. We're close as hell, Aki. We just have to continue. The scripture says, he that endureth to the end, the same shall be saved. So with that, I'm going to end it by giving all praise and the glory to you. How about Shema Shah, by Shema Kakodash. Double honor to the apostle, that is a great millstone. Shalom, Aki.